Same-sex marriage is currently one of the most divisive political issues in our nation. This is because the issue spans over everyone in the nation because marriage is one of the most enjoyed privileges. Every state, every social class, every race, every ethnicity, every religion, or even the non-religious get married in the United States. For many people, marriage is a source of great joy and is not taken lightly. So to be told you can't get married is a big deal and feels like an excluding measure if someone was denied marriage. So involved in this issue are two very clearly defined groups of people, those who believe that same-sex marriage should be allowed and those who do not. The next thing I would like to talk about is the history of same-sex marriage. Same-sex marriage has been around since ancient times. The earliest recorded occurrence was in the Zhou dynasty around 1046. This marriage was widely accepted by the community, but it did not involve a religious binding. The next recorded occurrence was Roman Emperor Nero. He married 2 other men during his reign. Then in 342 AD, the Roman emperors Constitutus II and Constans issued the Theodosian Code that prohibited same-sex marriage in Rome. Those who were married to another of the same sex were executed. Now moving on to a bit more modern application and some statistics about same-sex marriage. Today there are 20 countries that do recognize same-sex marriage. Some include Belgium, Spain, Canada, South Africa, Norway, Sweden, Portugal, Iceland, Argentina, and many others. In the United States, there are only 36 that have banned same-sex marriage, and 6 states allow civil unions but not marriage. These include Colorado, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, New Jersey, and Rhode Island, where 12 states do allow same-sex marriage. These would include Connecticut, Delaware, Iowa, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Hampshire, New York, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington. I would like to discuss a little about the conflict theory and how it plays into same-sex marriage. The conflict theory is the theory in which the economic organization of a society affects or determines the class structure, the institutions, cultural values, and beliefs of society. The legalization of same-sex marriage is an instance where the government abandons its long-standing role of enforcing bias and privilege favoring the elite and powerful, and begins to apply laws and social rules in a more equal manner. This actively protects the rights of an oppressed minority over the objections of a class seen as losing the benefit of institutional discrimination, rather than just claiming that they are all equal and free when such glittering generalities are simply not true. I would also like to talk about structural functionalism and its part to play in this. Structural functionalism is defined as society as a complex system whose parts work together to promote solidarity and stability. In this case, the social structures of marriage and family create deep social and emotional bonds that give individuals in-depth systems of social support, as well as generating expectations of social responsibilities within their members, fulfilling the function of creating social cohesion. In essence, spouses support each other financially, socially, emotionally, and physically, and are driven to achieve socially defined expected standards of married life. Families provide the same systems of support to all their members, creating healthy environments and opportunities for individual growth of it. The last theory I would like to touch on is symbolic interactionism. Symbolic interactionism looks at society on a micro level, focusing more on the individual than the institutions to examine how individuals have created a social system. In regards to same-sex marriage, this would apply to why people have a homophobic attitude towards those who are different from themselves being straight. Same-sex couples are often denounced as being unnatural and immoral. In fact, prior to the gay rights movement, suicide rates among gays and lesbians were really high. It was easier to take one's own life than to live with the shame and stigma of being homosexual. To conclude, I would just like to talk about my own personal views on this. I personally view marriage as a religious institution that government is way too involved in. I believe that civil unions for same-sex couples are fine, and that these partnerships should receive benefits that married couples do, but that it should not be called marriage. I do have bias, perhaps, because I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I hold the views that most other members do, and believe in the counsel of the prophet Thomas S. Monson. I would also like to ask you to think about what you truly believe and what you would want, and how you could politely show your views to those around you. Thanks for listening.